Welcome to Wise Beyond Bitcoin, where you come for education, analysis, and opportunities in blockchain and crypto. My name is Lucas.
And my name is Ryan.
And we've got another awesome walkthrough one of the top ecosystems, smart contract platforms in cryptocurrency and DeFi. And our DeFi 2.0 BYOB series continued. And this one is on Avalanche, the Avalanche protocol. And I know this is a protocol, Ryan, you've been deeply involved with too in exploring. And we got,
Yes.
yeah, it's very
Yeah,
innovative.
it's been doing good too. I mean, I know in the last few weeks, Avalanche has gained quite a bit, right? So it's a standout project. I guess you'd say it's a blue chip.
Now, of course, we just covered the Phantom ecosystem. So if you're interested in checking out what's going on there, we've got a video on that and providing LP. But of course, this is all educational, exploratory, entertainment information. We're all just learning and growing in this new technology together. It is not financial advice or any kind of legal advice. It's not medical advice. Don't take this and use it for, your health and well. But if you enjoy learning about this new technology and you gain a lot of value from it, then and you enjoy the learning from others and sharing that knowledge, well, hit the like button, subscribe button, drop a comment if you know about an ecosystem you'd like us to take a look at. And there's way more than we can learn on our own, and it's just something that we all help each other out and rise together on this. So with that being said, let's go check out, like we do, start out with a little market overview, a snapshot at the moment. We did this today. And so Avalanche,
Tuesday, November 9th, in case you're wondering. Yeah,
that's right. And Avalanche is in the top 20. It's number 14 at the moment. Avalanche has had a great run in the last year, but Avalanche has a history, and I recommend, we always tell people, of course, do your own research. And Avalanche has actually a history. The founder has been working in blockchain and cryptography since before Bitcoin, and the advent of Bitcoin and Ethereum and smart contracts took a lot of painstaking time to create a more robust, stable, and efficient smart contract platform. So once you download that Avalanche wallet, and we'll do a technical walkthrough on that, although it's different than the MetaMask version, you'll find that their staking, the way that they secure their network is a little unique than it is to most other blockchains. They have three different platforms, one for interacting with smart contracts, and one for receiving funds from exchanges and other wallets, and one for locking up and staking. I call it their X, their C, and their P wallets.
right.
So that being said, because of how robust and how efficient, fast, and relatively cheap they are compared to Ethereum, and how they also can connect to that EVM code base, there has been just an amazing creation in DeFi on their network, because people can create LPs, stake, create positions, and not spend hundreds of dollars to get out, or
Gas fees. Yeah.
gas fees and harvest rewards. And
yeah, lots of development on Avalanche, and it continues.
And one of the first exchanges, kind of Uniswap, AMM, carbon copies, was Pangolin, which still to this day holds a pretty good amount of stable coins and Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the Avalanche ecosystem has really evolved quite a bit from the Uniswap AMM. And I guess that's a lot of what this video is to talk about, a lot of the fun exploratory ecosystems that if you're like, well, hey, I've got a MetaMask wallet, which is all it takes really to get started, and you're ready to join the Avalanche ecosystem and add value to it, then that's what this is all about, finding some of the new protocols out there that are innovating DeFi and blockchain and Avalanche.
Yep. So yeah, Pangolin, this would be a good place to come and get your LP your LP tokens. If you were interested in doing that, it'd be a good place to come to buy any of the other tokens on Avax as well, whether we're talking about time or various other protocols. They're all here available, and you can swap between them. You can stake your tokens, and you can farm your LP tokens, all from this one website from Pangolin, all using your MetaMask wallet.
And we've done a video actually on creating LP. If you're interested in taking your tokens and adding value, we've got a video on creating liquidity, providing positions, how to get those tokens, and then how to farm them. So it's as easy as clicking farm, and it will show you the pools that they are offering rewards in, and those rewards are paid in the PNG, the Pangolin token. So,
right,
you know, stable coins are all obviously highly sought after, and of course Ethereum and Bitcoin are also. Link is very commonly sought after. Yak and Chi. We've got some awesome news on Chi, and we'll be talking about Snowball pretty soon and some other platforms. But Pangolin is definitely one of the liquidity DeFi service providers, the premier, well, not premier, but one of the original, and
yeah,
still
very trusted and sound, right?
Absolutely simple and trusted. And that being said, another one that tends to be pretty sound, but is a little bit more dynamic and is an upgrade, offers a lot of the same services that you would from Pangolin, which is why Pangolin doesn't have as much of the liquidity and volume at the moment that you'll find on this one. I mean, look at just the difference in numbers.
Yeah.
Already.
And I like that Zap feature. I noticed that's one of the things that they've added on TraderJoe that you don't see on Pangolin, is this ability to zap. And if you're curious what that means, so when you're buying an LP token, usually you're staking, you're pooling together two different assets. You're doing 50%, say, ETH and 50% AVAX, or 50, however, you're pulling equal amounts of two different tokens. Now, so the issue is then you have to figure out and this is usually done in dollar terms. So it's like, $100 of one and $100 of another. So what you do is you go and you have to do the math. You figure out, okay, I have, so much money. I'm going to split this amongst these two tokens, and you go do a quick calculation, and you make your purchases. And then you pool those equal amounts together, and you can buy an LP token. Now, then another way to do it, a simpler way, would be to zap your way into an LP token. And this means you just have to select a single token, and then you can pick the pair essentially that you want to zap that into. And what the protocol will do it'll automatically split your investment across those two tokens equally, and will basically streamline your purchase of these LP tokens without you having to go and do the math and split your investment yourself. So it kind of just streamlines the purchase. So I like to zap my way into LPs if it's an option. It makes it a little easier. Yeah, go ahead.
What they also do, if you notice this, you can have USDC or DAI token or Joe token or wrapped AVAX or MIM, Magic Internet Money, which we have a lot to talk about later. And you can have that, take MIM and get out of that into Joe AVAX. So you don't even have to have one of the tokens in that LP. It'll zap you from whatever you have into a variety of LPs that are offered. So yeah,
that's a good point.
Zapping is really cool. This is a good point. This is a good feature. And it's just, like I said, it's one of those more dynamic features of TraderJoe. Another thing is TraderJoe offers liquidity in pools to positions that Pangolin just frankly doesn't have. I mean, you go look at Pangolin, they've got a good source of ETH, and they've got a good source of stable coins and some Chi, and of course some stable coins again. Their Bitcoin is down to about 4 million, right? Now we come over to the pools of TraderJoe, and the Bitcoin is 48 million.
Right.
So 12
big difference.
12 plus times more the big difference, and you see also, and this is more going on in the Avalanche ecosystem, the Avalanche is absolutely one of those protocols that are pioneering the future of DeFi. They're definitely a DeFi 2.0 blue chip.
Yes.
And a lot of that has to do with, you look at time and MIM time.
MIM.
MIM.
Yeah, we're going to get into those protocols, but those are some of the most innovative right now in DeFi, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And Joe, the Joe token itself, and of course, they offer rewards. I'm sure there's a lot you can farm, like we've mentioned. If you ever want to farm directly and take your LP tokens and have them work,
and stake them,
you can go directly to the farm on that protocol, and they will earn you the native Joe token. And Joe, you can actually stake by itself to earn rewards, like we've mentioned on Spooky Swap and on others. So,
and you can earn native tokens, right? When you stake your X Joe, is that how that works?
you actually earn AVAX rewards. So
okay,
you can earn Avalanche.
Nice. Very cool.
So we'll take a more in-depth look later, because you earn Joe, you harvest X Joe for more Joe, and
swap for whatever you want.
Swap for whatever you want with a cup of Joe. Swap it. Now, this is cool, but like we've mentioned, we talked about Koji or Kogi farms or Koji farms. One of the neat things about smart contracts is that, you take an LP token and you come over here and farm it, right? Well, when you farm that LP, when you farm these LP tokens and they pay you those rewards, it has to be worth it for you to pay the transaction fee, to harvest it, to take that and then restake it, because no one's ever earning interest on those rewards until they pull them out.
Right.
They restake them.
So it can be compounded.
And that's the benefit. And we've got some protocols later, just like in
that automate this process.
Exactly. Smart contracts are now able, you look at Curve and Urine Finance, what a lot of these protocols do, they allow people to pool together their positions so that daily harvesting can be done and restaking can be done, so that you're, without having to do anything, able to have your interest compounded.
Right.
And that's really one of the beautiful features of DeFi and crypto. Not to mention lending and borrowing and being able to provide collateral. So it's really neat to explore on a lot of these different protocols. If you're like, well, I want to support Avalanche and be a part, and obviously the safest thing you can do is hold Avalanche in your Avalanche wallet and just take it and earn interest through the Avalanche blockchain. If that's the most blue chip, safest thing you can do to support Avalanche. Then if you're like, well, I also would like to take a portion and support DeFi growth and some of these different protocols, be a part of it, then it's good to take that portion that you're not afraid to risk losing and things happening, and go out and partake of the incredible fluctuating APIs, APRs, and returns that are out there. But yeah, you
take a little more risk and get a little more return, right?
Yep. So
well, that pretty much wraps up TraderJoe. What do you think about when we go on to BenQi? Because that key, or Chi, I'm sorry, I want to say key. Chi,
we can go
that Chi token has been we've seen that pop up so far on Pangolin and on TraderJoe. So
did you have much to say about the P5 Penguin token and P Finance? On it's very similar to TraderJoe and others. I wasn't sure if this was something you wanted to come back and look at.
Yeah, I just wanted to list it as another one of these AMM DeFi dexes on Avalanche. Just another example of a place where you can go and stake and farm, and yeah, it's this is a newer one, and I think it's it's nice to see the established, but it's also nice to see kind of some of the new upcoming protocols, and nothing specific that jumped out at me. It seemed very similar to BenQi and TraderJoe.
And they do have swaps, I guess, somewhere when you connect wallet. Have you experienced the swaps? I mean, I'm assuming that if you're providing liquidity, that they have a swap. You
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The swaps look like they occur. They have links to TraderJoe, Pangolin, and other exchanges. So I feel like so this is more of a place to stake and to buy LP tokens.
got it, and earn rewards
Hmm.
in the Penguin Finance native token. That's cool.
Yep.
It's just another place on Avalanche where you can. Here they tell you you can Pangolin. Okay, this is great. It's an LP, basically table of content. It's a liquidity providing resource for the Avalanche network. Well, they allow you to purchase the tokens directly on their site from Pangolin or TraderJoe, and I'm sure others too in the future
Hmm.
will probably grow. Here's Sushi as well. So Lydia, there you go. So a growing number of Avalanche decentralized exchanges. You can, right here in Penguin Finance, you can purchase liquidity tokens for them and start earning rewards in the
And the
PFI,
Penguin.
PEFI, PEFI, Penguin, PEFI. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
another. So that's awesome. That's another great DeFi resource. And then of course you've got Yeti, and Yeti's
Right.
just like Pangolin. Of course, they have an NFT marketplace,
Right.
and
That's one of the things that stands out about this one.
in other words, you can check out the swaps, you can check out the pools, and if you'd like, you can see what their top pools are. And if you'd like to support the ecosystem, they've got a lot of the common ones that you see. But they also have what you're saying, Ryan. This is probably why you pulled this up. A really
Yeah.
cool
The NFT marketplace.
NFT marketplace
Yep.
directly. So that's cool. And yeah, we're at the beginning of the NFT revolution, and there are just so many innovative things that can be done with the NFT and in the metaverse. But that's cool. So check if you're like, well, I'm looking for NFTs and NFT plays on Avalanche and want to see what they have and experience that. This is just another cool resource around here.
Yep.
Now, Snowball, as I'm working our way down
Yeah. Let's
the
moving
main
on down.
Snowball. Let's talk about Snowball, compound and earn, and what they do. I guess they're another LP providing resource similar
Right.
to PFI, to PEFI.
Yes. I would say that's that would be the direct analog here. This isn't a place to come and to swap in and out so much as to vault to, they have vaults, they have staking options for you.
They'll
And
even
the token is Snowball, as you said.
Yeah, and they'll even tell you, just like Penguin Finance, they have a list right here of which protocol you're directly providing liquidity to. And like you said, they pay you
Right.
in the snob, in the snob, and the snowball, the snob
And
token.
this is another one with an NFT marketplace.
Yep. They also have an NFT marketplace. So compound and earn, they're another, it's really neat. A quick aside.
Mhm.
Part of when people hodl and they buy cryptos, unlike Bitcoin, where you just put in a paper wallet and hope more people buy it. And a lot of these other smart contract platforms, they're built on creating utility. They're built on DeFi liquidity, having swaps, exchanges, these different protocols. Part of, I think, if one can take that risk, part of desiring to see your community grow is taking a portion of what you have and adding it to the community. I mean, at the end of the
Mhm.
day, when we say provide liquidity, whether it's a little bit on TraderJoe, Pangolin, or these different protocols we'll look at, what you're saying is instead of taking that liquidity and locking it up in my own wallet, I'm going to put it out there to add value to an ecosystem that I want to see grow, literally adding liquidity so that more people can exchange in and out, literally adding
Right.
more volume so that more daily volume and transactions can happen. So
Yep.
uh,
You're supporting the network.
yeah. So and potentially, not always, because these things are high risk, but potentially if you support, you take that that risk and you put it in early, and these networks hit and they grow and they're there to provide value for some time, then you potentially can benefit, like many people do in crypto, from the growth and the value of that.
Right.
So that's cool. This is the Snob.
You know, I was looking at through their compounding and earning tab, and there's an option to stake MIM for a pretty significant amount of money. There's a single-sided stake because, you know, most of these are pooled stakes, but there's a MIM stake for 67% APY. Now it's paid in Snowball, but you know, you can sell your Snowball every day, like we talk about, and you can compound that into, you could turn that back into MIM or into any other thing. So you could really, you know, make those interest yields real and permanent if you're, you know, if you're uncertain about Snowball's future. But I think that's a great return, you know, 67%.
Yeah. Now
Oh,
imagine.
you're on, it changed all of a sudden? It's funny.
Oh yeah, I just refreshed the page.
Yeah,
Or maybe I haven't. I just clicked over and you refreshed sooner.
right.
It's at 44% now. Do you see that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, came down a little bit.
But that's cool. And that's Banker Joe. Are you familiar with Banker Joe?
No, I'm not.
I'm not either.
So let's explore that.
I don't know. It sounds like it's a feature
Of
of
TraderJoe, right? Yeah,
that's what my intuition tells me. But
like a vault maybe on their
yeah,
protocol or something.
some farming area. No, you know what? Under stake. Would that be it? No, just Joe. So I don't know. We're gonna have to type in Banker Joe and figure that out. But
Yeah,
you know what? I'll let you type that up. While
yeah,
you
yeah. Keep
research
looking.
that, I'm gonna move on. Snowball has NFTs. It's another place like Penguin Finance where you can, you know, earn rewards for locking up your LP token through another protocol. Obviously, the more protocols you go through, the increased risk, but you also have services through these smart contracts that are being provided for you that allow you to get daily returns. Like you said, Ryan, you can scrape them, you can harvest them daily, weekly,
Right.
every so often, and restake them, compounding and earn. Of course, there are protocols that will do that for you, and we will get to those soon.
So Banker Joe, and let me update you before we forget. That is the lending protocol on TraderJoe.
There we go. Lending, and Banker Joe is from that. So
Yeah.
cool. It's a language of borrowing. You can deposit and you can earn interest on your collateral. You actually can borrow and earn rewards while
For
you borrow.
borrowing.
For
Yeah.
borrowing. Yeah, that's true. Now they're not going to be greater than the interest
From
that
the
you
interest.
pay
Right.
back. I mean, but there's still a payback in a certain token that you can do stuff with. That's a little cash back on your.
Well, it offsets almost like on this, on the AVAX, it's offsetting more than half of the interest. So that's cool.
Well, there's a difference between the APY and the APR.
APR.
Token
Yeah.
that they
APY
charge
is compounding.
and the token that they pay you in.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
APR is not. Yeah, that's right. So that could be, it's a little deceptive on that, but it's still a good thing, right? To have rewards.
it's how it works. It's how it works. You're using a service, and the value. Look, if the value of Joe token as a lending platform and other services grows, then the rewards that you're paid in, they
Go up too.
value too.
Yeah.
And absolutely. So we've gone through Penguin. We've gone through pretty much Yeti and Swap, the NFT marketplace. Very similar.
Mhm.
It's fun to explore. We've gone through the Snowball, the Snob, and you know what it's doing. You know, it'd be interesting if a lot of these protocols that have governance, if they don't take a portion, this would be. Think about this. Think about this. think about if they, because they're already working together in many ways to add value to the ecosystems. If they voted and took a portion of the rewards that came through Snowball, Penguin, this would really help add value to their token too, right? Take a portion and burn it into a MIM pool, like use it to go collateral, add, go be another asset that is locked up, LP'd to a MIM creation pool to add to the value of decentralized stable coins on the network, and to take the value of the governance token that people hold for other features and lock it up and essentially burning it. So it's deflationary, but it's locking it up. Pardon me. It's locking it up into something that adds value to, that backs a stable coin.
Right.
So Snowball, Penguin Finance, trade, a lot of these can take a portion and have a vote that a portion is used, because we're going to get to this, but brother, Abracadabra and MIM and what's going on with Avalanche and a lot of these other networks is really, really big to the future in the health and the transparency and the health of DeFi, how it's operated, decentralized and protocol driven. And yeah, so, okay.
Indeed. Well, let's move on. You want to talk about Olive Cash protocol?
Do you want to talk to me about Olive?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So Olive is there's three blockchains that you can interact with this protocol: Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, and Phantom. Love to see that interoperability. So that's cool. When you go and look at the trades tab, you get the standard, exchange swap kind of features for all the AVAX protocols and tokens that we've kind of looked at already. Nothing too new there. And then in terms of liquidity, you can provide liquidity and get your LPs, or you can reverse that and sell your liquidity and get your tokens back. Under farms is where, and pools. Okay, under farms is where you would go and stake those LP tokens, right?
That's right.
And you can see all of AVAX, and there's various other pools that you can join, and pretty generous APRs. The liquidity on these is pretty small. I mean, this is pretty new. So that's something to think about. Now, under the pools tab, you will see that they have options for single-sided pools, and there's an automatic restaking feature. So now we're getting that auto compounding function that is so important and so awesome when you can put it to work for yourself. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that. That's one of the features that this Olive Cash protocol has makes it a little bit more unique.
Once like zapping, one-sided staking that allows you to earn rewards in a different protocol. That's always pretty neat. I enjoy that. It guarantees a return in something different and unique, and it kind of allows you to diversify and hedge just from one click.
And actually, under this pools tab, you can see that there's Olive staking, where you can earn Olive, but there's actually another option where you can stake Olive and earn time. You can earn Spell. You can earn Joe.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty awesome.
Stake Olive, earn time right here.
Yeah. So you have to love that.
And
that's one of the things I tend to look for. Is it's great to earn exchange tokens, but if you can find ways to earn the native token, sometimes that's even better, because I feel like the exchange tokens the value proposition surrounding them is a little less it's a little less going on there, right? It's the health of the exchange is very much questionable, whereas the health of an entire blockchain, it's a little easier to kind of figure out what's the risks involved, or which direction is this going in. But whereas a central an exchange itself, it could be replaced by another exchange, like we saw with Pangolin and TraderJoe. How Pangolin was the early mover, but overall TraderJoe's sucked a lot of the liquidity out of it, and where a lot of the action's happening. So if you were holding on to PNG, you could see that might not have been as great of a risk. Whereas holding AVAX, the blockchain itself. That would have been, so if you can get rewarded in something that's like a blockchain token, I feel like that's better than just an exchange token.
Absolutely. And that's why it's always good to compound your rewards and harvest them and exchange them out as a way of kind of locking it in. So you're not left to the volatility of the governance token. That's another strategy. So that's cool. Frostfinance.farm is whoa, this goes into Elk, Pangolin, Yield Yak, the Dragon's Lair, which I'm not even sure about that. That looks like some kind of cool metaverse.
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Similar to that. That'll be something we'll have to check out and follow up later. It's similar to a DeFi Kingdoms on Harmony One, it looks like.
Yeah.
So
Tundra is the token here on Frost.
okay.
And so there's just swap function, a trade, they call it trade here, but you can buy Tundra on Pangolin, and then you can bring your Tundra over onto the farms and get into any of these awesome pools they have going on here.
And as you said, Tundra is the native token. There must be more pool. I clicked farm.
Yeah, I'm on farms. Looks like it's pretty early.
Yeah.
We're real early on this protocol.
Low liquidity again.
Real low liquidity. So yeah, buyer beware on that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. That might be a dungeon play. So it's good. That's why they call it the dungeon token. No, I'm just kidding. I need to learn. We'll learn more about Tundra. They've also got an EXP token, which I'm not sure what EXP farms. Oh, look, that just opens up to
the dungeons is a NFT thing.
Okay. Oh, cool. So they got some NFT plays too, and it's early on. And don't forget, a lot of these protocols are finding ways for interoperability. I wouldn't be surprised if there was liquidity aggregators that brought the liquidity from this connected to another one and allowed for people to have more liquidity throughout the chain. They're finding ways of protocols to kind of to create a union amongst the disparate, the separate, all these different protocols into one that allows for greater access. So that's possible. It is early on. We will see what happens. DYOR. Do your own research
on this for sure.
Especially when you BYOB, be your own bank. If you're going to be your own bank, you're doing your own. You got to jump in and do your own research. So
that's right.
Let's do that. Take a moment for all those who are doing their own research, reading the white paper. Okay. Yield Yak. This is a blue chip in Avalanche and has been around for a little while now and offers a great service when you talk about auto compounding.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. This is another one of these auto compounding protocols. They have obviously you can swap into whatever you want, like the others. Under farms, you'll see a pretty good selection here, and these are singles. These are singles, yeah. You can farm
assets.
Yeah, and it's on different platforms. So you're looking at Avax on Aave or Avax on BenQi, and earn the fees associated with those protocols, those platforms. So this is very cool.
We've got some cool stuff to talk about BenQi, and the reason why they can do this, and just to clarify again, how do these auto compounder farms work? How are they able to create this? Well, this is how. If you stake $50 or $100 or even 1,000 or what have you on BenQi to earn the collateral interest, and we'll show you how that works. You can lock it up and earn interest. They take that interest that you earn in Chi tokens directly on that platform, along with a lot of other people that are giving it to the Yield Yak platform as well. And they're able to harvest your rewards daily at a fraction of the cost. Because for many people, the cost of doing the transactions, first of all, the time it takes to do it and the cost it takes to do transactions daily makes it to where it eats in, it's not worth it. But when you can do this for a large pool of people together, then it's only one transaction fee. It's almost free when you split the cost among people, and it allows people to compound their interest and accumulate more of, like here it says, single asset and whatever they pay out. So it's just a beautiful mechanism. I'll say that the Avalanche staking rate is at 10% if you just stake it natively in the wallet. So if you're able to come to BenQi and take your Avalanche and lock it up and provide, well, here you can do it directly through Yield Yak.
You get 25%.
You're getting over 20%.
Yeah.
And that's great. And think about why that is. Well, BenQi is a protocol that's offering collateral and lending. It's a platform to help grow DeFi on the Avalanche network. So for those people, it's like when you BYOB, when you be your own bank and you're allowing some of your Avalanche to help others engage in DeFi and help the network grow, then you directly,
you're going to get a reward.
You're going to get rewarded from it.
Yep.
So they've
just like the banks do when they take your deposits and loan them out.
Right? Just like it in theory, but not like it in the fact that it's all collateral based and there's no pyramid. Just
right.
Nothing. But yeah, you're right. Banker Joe, BenQi, it tells you the platform that you go and you get your LP on, and you come and you stake it and you lock it up. And what's cool is if you haven't already, it's neat how low the fees are on Avalanche compared to Ethereum and other networks. So
it's almost it's sickening when you look at what those ETH fees are, and it's if you wonder why there's all these other chains, that's exactly why. It's just crazy that it costs sometimes hundreds of dollars just to interact with the contract. That's unsustainable. And Avalanche is a great alternative for that reason.
And Yield Yak is a great if you're looking for a one-stop shop to kind of compound your LP rewards and experiment with a couple different protocols. It's neat that you can all do it right here. And they have 455 million total value locked at the moment. They have a staking where you can take the Yield Yak token itself, which has some pretty neat tokenomics, and you can lock that up and earn an interest on your Yield Yak. And of course, you can earn Yield Yak from your Pangolin Yak Avax liquidity. They show you how you can take different liquidity positions and earn the lovely Yield Yak. And I mean, have you ever seen a yak? Have you ever seen a yak?
They're majestic.
Oh my God, they're beautiful. They are majestic, absolutely majestic. And this is a majestic feature for DeFi 2.0. Absolutely. Hope that gives you a little bit more understanding. They also have a swap feature. That's right. You can swap directly on Yield Yak. And so it's pretty neat service. We are going down the evolution and innovation field more and more. Talk to me about, I talk about how majestic yaks are. Then you go into like
elks,
elk,
right?
Moose, or when there's a group of them, you call them Meese. Look at that group of Meese.
That's funny. So Elk Finance. This is an upcoming protocol too. That's getting a lot of buzz. I'm clicking on the first. It's got a swap. Obviously, many of these are going to have swaps, and those are pretty similar to each other. Now, the Elk Net is a cross-chain transfer function, and looking at some of the options of what you can bridge from. So this is a bridge essentially. There's a bridge to Binance, Kronos, Elastos, Phantom, Harmony. Yeah, KCC, Moonriver, Polygon. I mean, this is a pretty awesome list of chains.
Wow.
Longer than what you typically see on bridges. Normally it's one or two or three. And this has got a long list. So this is awesome to see.
Very cool to see on Avalanche. Well, that gave me a big love for Elk token.
Yeah.
So like whether it's Yield Yak or TraderJoe or Elk Token, this is not financial advice. This is just community talk to fellow crypto blockchain lovers. When you see
Right.
a platform that you would like to see grow in value and that you would like to see grow, it's good to hodl a little bit of it, to acquire a little bit of it, and to either stake it or provide LP or to lock it up so that it can provide value for others. I mean, that's just 101. That's how you participate and you're proactive at helping this technology, because how Bitcoin, Ethereum, how these all grow is by the network by more people adopting and using and adding value. This for Avalanche, Elk Token, that's a beautiful feature. That's amazing. I mean, to be able to come in and out of all these different chains right there, and you come right into all the swaps on Avalanche, and I guess we can check out their pools. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, there's some pools. We'll talk about the staking too. That's another part that's jumping out at me. The 69% APR on Elk. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, pools, farms. You can come here and get your LP tokens. You can create a pair, add liquidity, and then you can farm them on their farms page.
And
it does seem like we're pretty. Let me see where's the TVL stats at, but I think this is relatively early.
Right.
On Elk.
Not a lot of volume.
Okay, 2 million, looks like 2 million liquidity, 500,000 volume in the last 24 hours. So yeah, it's early, but I mean, a lot of this stuff's AVAX is early too. So I mean, it shouldn't be a put off. It just means that you wouldn't want to go ape in and throw your whole bag at it, right?
No, exactly. And that's why I say this whole portion of one's portfolio, for lack of a better term, in crypto should be, I would say, would be a smaller portion, right?
Right.
If you're hodling in some blue chips in the native chains and staking them and just letting them do their thing, that's the most secure in your wallet. You hold your keys, most secure thing you can do. Then if you're whatever your risk tolerance, depending upon your risk tolerance, you can go from whatever percent to whatever percent in choosing what portion. But I would say to mitigate, the counterparty risk and the different protocols, because once you start getting into providing liquidity and farming, there is added risk that you don't have by just staking on the native chain. You're working through, although they've been audited, you're working through other protocols that sometimes you hear of rug pulls or hacks or bugs. That being said, the growth on these networks and the services that are being provided. I mean, to go to Elk Net and to be able to take a token, much like Relay Chain that Jacob talks about in the cross-chain swap video that is coming out. Have come out yet already? Will be out soon. That's a beautiful feature. That's a decentralized way of going from chain to chain.
Right.
So
one more thing about Elk that I'd like to touch on is they're launching, they have an NFT marketplace. It's the Moose. If you look at the Moose tab, you'll see it. And they actually have Moose, they have Elk NFTs that were launched on other chains. There was a Matic collection, there was a Phantom collection. And if you buy any of these NFTs on the previous chains, anytime they roll out a new NFT collection on a future chain, you're going to get an airdrop, a free airdrop of a Moose NFT for that future chain they roll out on. So that's pretty cool.
And that's really cool because you're talking about the fungibility, or I mean pardon me, not the fungibility, the utility of NFTs moving forward. Like having an NFT is no longer just, oh, I hope that this digital pixel artwork grows in value. Now holding on to an NFT is holding on to a token. Right now it's holding on to a share. They're saying that they're going to be doing airdrops. And those people who are holding these NFTs will have exclusive access. So NFTs, are going to provide people.
It's not just art. It's going to be there'll be a function to it.
functions, utility, exclusivity, and mint swap. I mean, that was a lot. I mean, this is bookmark, check that, check out Elk swap,
Mhm.
Elk.
Yeah, that we covered that. So let's look at mint swap. Another upcoming AMM DEX on Avax. The trade, it's got the trade tab, which takes you to Pangolin. So they don't have their own swap function. Liquidity function is all to purchase LP tokens, also takes you to Pangolin. So they haven't made anything there. But once you do get your LP tokens, you can bring them on over and look at the farms that they offer, and you're earning mint is that's the exchange token. And the APRs are, pretty, there's some pretty awesome APRs here. Like, the mint USDC pool or farm rather is paying out an APR of 2,300%. So these are some pretty, now that's not going to be sustainable, obviously, but it's something to, if that's something you want to throw some money at, these are the protocols and the opportunities that are coming up on Avax.
And it's paid out in mint token. It's not, you're not
Right.
getting 2,800% in AVAX. I mean, you're getting it in their token. And there's a lot to be said about these returns in DeFi.
Yeah. Well, the mint token's $38 right now. So, but whether or not that's going to continue or that's going to fall, that's up in the air. I'm a big believer in, taking profit out of exchange tokens as you get them, as you earn them. But everybody, that doesn't always pay off because, they do go up too. So you have to kind of do your own research and take some risks really on how you go forward on that. But it makes sense to me that that these APRs will fall, and that over time the exchange tokens, as they are generated and paid out and as rewards, those are going to go down in value. So kind of like that, when you get it, if you can cash it out for a stable coin or something else, I feel like that's a better strategy, but not always.
I'll tell you something else they do that's pretty cool. It looks like they offer one-sided staking as well to earn mint. So you can come in and you can lock up wrapped AVAX, Ether, USDT, Pangolin, Bitcoin, USDC DAI, and you can earn mint. So it's another one of those one-sided staking
That's cool
opportunities that they use to.
They have a mint bank. I was exploring that. It's not out yet, but it's coming. And they're allowed, this isn't a way to stake your mint tokens and then reward them in new token, earn rewards in other tokens and new tokens. So I'm not sure what tokens they're going to offer, but I assume it would be, like various like wrapped ETH and AVAX and various other AVAX tokens, right? That'll be cool.
Believe so. These very interesting, if you're involved in mint swap, or if you've been involved in Elk, hashtag, we'll put all these below, and we're going to leave all these links below. For those of you who've been involved in these protocols and you have experience, drop us a comment and let us know. Oh man, I had mint when it was back at $3, or you're like, no, I've had mint and it was at $90 and now it's at 38. I mean, let us know your experience. And if you know some other stuff going on Avalanche that's hot and popping, drop that in the comments, because we're all learning this together. These projects are definitely in the red chip, very, very red, very red.
I would say so, yes.
Risk and very innovative section. Speaking of
BenQi,
innovative, not high risk, but innovative, this is actually one of the original protocols on Avalanche, and it's a very simple, clean, boring. It didn't get as much attention for a while as other protocols, because what do? Well, you can take your Avalanche or USDC, USDT DAI, wrap Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Link in their native chi, and you can supply them just with the click of a button below. Once you have them in your wallet, you just click a button and it'll supply them, and you will earn rewards. You will earn rewards in chi that you'll be able to claim on a regular basis. There's also ways you can earn protocol rewards directly in Avalanche. So you actually earn
and PNG. it
like
looks like as well.
like you said, well, like you said, one of the cool things is getting rewards not in a governance token, but to have it in the native token itself. And BenQi, I forgot which one it is. When you provide liquidity, you supply, or when you borrow, but you actually earn you when you make use of the protocol.
You earn AVAX.
You start over a function of time and what the amount you're using, you earn an AVAX like cash back in
Nice,
so to speak. Yes,
I like that. I prefer that.
they're Chi AVAX. If you go to that Pangolin Dex we went to at the beginning and you say, well, I want to be a part of the BenQi, what they got going on there, you can take your Chi AVAX liquidity token, and instead of farming it on Pangolin, you would come over here and you
Deposit it.
deposit the full amount, and then you would start racking up. Instead of earning up PGL rewards, you would be racking up Chi rewards. That's what's going to go on there.
I noticed they also have a bridge.
They have a
here
bridge
as well.
that'll take you to an Ethereum. That'll take you to a bridge. I don't want
The
to
Avax bridge, network.
mess with that right now on my MetaMask connections. We got some more Avalanche to go through.
Right.
Yes, they do. Right there, it takes you to the official Avalanche bridge that helps you go from Ethereum and other tokens directly onto Avalanche, which is great because then you can go to all of these protocols right from your MetaMask wallet or other and bridge from your
swap
right over. It's a beautiful thing. BenQi is a beautiful thing. And what they allow you to do, so that's what they allow you to do. They allow you to take your Avalanche, to take your digital assets and to supply them. And then that is collateral. You can offer that as collateral, that not only are you earning a reward for adding liquidity and value to the protocol, you're getting paid back in Chi token or what have you.
Right.
But you can come borrow against that.
Right. And borrow a stable coin and then go farm that.
You not even borrow stablecoin. That's
or AVAX, right? Or Chi.
Whatever. Choose risk tolerance.
How do you want it to loan?
What would you like to borrow against? What would you like to supply? You can supply stable coins. You can, I mean, I would suppose that the most risk-free, if you're bullish, this is not financial
supply stable coins and borrow like what, AVAX?
Borrow stable coins.
Borrow stable coins too, yeah. Oh yeah, because why would you want to pay more, pay back the loan in an appreciating asset?
Really, if you're bullish and you think the market's going up, what I would do is I would use stable coins, lock those up, borrow a fraction because the collateral just gives you a portion, and you don't have to worry about the stable coin going up and down over time. So the market crashes,
right?
You just have stable coins to cash out. It's not like, oh man. But if you think the market's going up, well, what you do is you buy Bitcoin or ETH or AVAX
with the stable coin
or Link or Chi. If you're real bullish on Chi, you're like BenQi or Key or whatever you call it. They're gonna be like, oh man, I think BenQi's gonna moon. All right, well, make your play. But that's what I would say. Now, if you really want to, leverage and find ways to play that, you're welcome to
take more risk.
More risk. But if you just want to keep it simple, supply.
I would say if you're really bullish, supply ETH or Bitcoin and then borrow stable coins. Because now when you pay back your investment, with the loan, when you pay your loan off, you're going to get your collateral back and it'll be worth a whole lot more.
Yep.
So that's good. But if you're wrong and that collateral falls in value, you might get a margin call
and you'll lose it.
And you can lose it.
And
there's some risk.
That's what's been going on in a lot of these dips. A lot of people, there's a lot of leverage going on in DeFi, not just in DeFi, but in CeFi.
Right.
There's a lot of leverage trading and leveraging. And then when
liquidations
card starts to fall, liquidations start to call sell-offs and sell-offs.
All your coins belong to us now.
Yep. So that's why we don't recommend trading and leveraging on that kind of level. The safest strategy that I would feel comfortable with, like I said, would be use a swap, convert to, if you're like, well, I want to, I'm bullish on the market and I want to get try and buy a little bit more Avalanche or Bitcoin or what have you. Well, then you convert something to stable coins and you borrow against those stable coins. You've got
And then go buy those assets.
go buy those assets. And if they go well, then you can cash them out to pay off your position. And then you've, okay, we're
You've
going,
made a profit.
but
Moving on.
moving on, not financial advice at
Right.
all. Why we brought BenQi, one of the OG original of the Avalanche platform that just adds some solid, consistent value, although it hasn't been too dynamic in the past. Now they are becoming dynamic. And following the success of the 180 million liquidity mining incentive programs to integrate Avalanche with other protocols.
The curve and Aave. Yeah.
Aave, right? And Curve. Here we go. We are talking about, and don't forget Sushi Swap. Okay. We're talking about, if you're familiar with Avalanche, that like other proof of stake networks, there's a portion of Avalanche that people are locking up on BenQi. They're trading on Pangolin with your MetaMask wallet or whichever. But there's a portion that's locked up and staked. They actually have to stake it to keep the network secure. And there's rewards around 10% annual, I think 8 to 10% that you earn for staking, just keeping it blue chip simple, like not crazy deep. DeFi 1.0, not DeFi 2. DeFi 1.0. And you DeFi 1.0, the blue chip, and just let your Avalanche grow. Just like set and forget it. Let your Avalanche will grow. You do that, your Avalanche is growing, because it's just, as long as the Avalanche network, like Bitcoin, as long as it's existing, you will have a 10%, 8 to 10% increase in your stack. Now, that part that you're locking up for a few months, or usually it's a few months at a time, there's a lot of value of Avalanche that's locked up, like in a smart contract through that staking mechanism, that will come free in a period of time, but you can't get it now. What BenQi's talking about doing is they're talking about a liquid staking solution that allows for capital convenience, that allows people access to a value, like the collateral, to those staked Avalanche tokens in their wallet connected to.
That's really cool.
Yes, it is really cool. It opens up a lot more risk, because if you're doing that, now you're whatever you have staked and was now margin call again, depending upon what happens.
You're going from a risk-free stake to a not a risk, to something where there is risk, because you're borrowing against collateral.
That being said, it is making more robust, more dynamic, allowing for more growth to DeFi and the Avalanche network. Because if you're aware of that, you're like, well, I want to stake a portion and I want to borrow against it in a certain way. Well, then absolutely.
Yeah. It creates more options and it frees up some liquidity that was locked. So I mean, all in all, I think it's cool.
Very cool. Okay. We have to, Avalanche is part of a family of super innovative blockchains that are working to bring a decentralized solution to stable coins and that liquidity, because markets going up and down, the volatility of crypto, stable coins. In fact, might as well just real quick show how important the role of stable coins are. I mean,
Tether
has been at the top. We've got USDC right there, just under the top 10.
Luna.
There's two of them right there. And of course, one of our favorites. Hey, that's a good sign that Luna's at number 13 right now. I'm just going to call this right now. Lunar cycle, 13 lunar months in a year. 13 is definitely a moon. It's definitely a number for the moon. Oh, look at that. And now it's number 12. That's how bullish I am on the numbers.
Been validated. Well, at least it moved up and not down, right?
Well, I was just gonna say it's a good time to get in. I thought it's a good sign, but okay. Anyway, 12 is a good month too. Okay, because the moon loves the sun. There's 12. Okay. Anyway, that's another video. Luna's our favorite, a decentralized stable coin, because there has been talk of risk for a long time and always will remain inherent risk in Tether and USDC. Ryan, why is there risk Tether and USDC.
because those two assets are backed by dollar-based assets that are in mainstream financial organizations' custody.
And even though we've shown that Tether's been audited and they have a lot of collateral backing them, they are also what they also hold in common is they're both centralized. They're also
Yeah, they're
centralized
centralized.
entities that have a point of failure and can be regulated to drastically changing the access to the liquidity, and there could be quite a reset possibly.
Well, they're very vulnerable to regulatory risks. That's the one way to say it.
That's the best way to say it.
Yep.
Whatever that black swan, polka dot swan may be. And therefore you look at Luna. Luna's a brilliant. We've got a whole Luna Terra video. So if you like this kind of information, you like to get down to the nitty gritty and not just hold a token, but know what is that token doing? How dynamic is Avalanche? Are you sitting with Avalanche in your Coinbase or Gemini wallet? Would you like to know what is Avalanche in the smart contract world? What's being created and what are they doing? And eventually,
what can you do with it other than just hold it?
Yeah, absolutely. Then hit the thumbs up. And if you aren't interested in all that stuff, then hit the thumbs up.
Anyway, because maybe you will change and become interested.
So, and here we go. Avalanche right there with Luna. How convenient for this video. So that's nice. Luna's climbing. No surprise there. And Avalanche up there also moving.
But next to Luna is another stablecoin, a decentralized stablecoin protocol that we're big time fans of. Abracadabra, right? And their token's called MIM.
That's
I'm thinking,
yeah.
And if you've seen, if you've been following this video this far, you've seen MIM as a pair in a lot of the pools, farms, and it's been an option in some swaps as well. It's actually one of the second most traded assets on TraderJoe, I believe, right? Is it MIM?
It is.
As far as volume.
Look on Abracadabra, look at the different chains that MIM is connected to.
Yeah, and growing too, because they're now about to start a UST Luna protocol option as well.
That's huge. Tell people right now why that's not just a major innovation, because you're taking two decentralized stable coins and you're helping ensure and bring them together, that added value. Yeah. But talk about,
yeah, well, there's one more thing about this. So, well, I guess to understand that, you need to first understand what Abracadabra enables you to do. So go to the part, yeah, right there where the cauldron is explained. So they have this thing called the cauldron. And what you do is you deposit your interest-bearing crypto assets, your LP tokens, whether it's from Yearn Finance or USDT or USDC or Sushi and others, right? So you can take these LPs, you deposit them into the cauldron as collateral, and out on the other end comes a stable coin called MIM, which you are able to then use and trade with however you'd like. So this is just a lending, collateralized lending is what it is. But so the real benefit with the real innovation that Lucas was asking about in regards to Terra and Luna is that in this new cauldron they're developing, you'll be able to deposit UST Terra, not the LP, but just the actual token itself, and mint or borrow MIM. So you're not having to be it's not having to be an interest bearing asset. It can just be a stable coin, and that's huge. That's a big step. It's like you said, it's bringing into communication two of the premier decentralized stable coins, and then it's also unlocking opportunities for people who don't even have LPs and who aren't even into that yet.
So check this out. For MIM, that gives them a direct dollar for dollar tie now. Now, instead of them being in baskets of pools on Curve or different places with USDC and Tether and stuff, now MIM 1 for 1. If it's the UST, now they're saying we'll take that 1 for 1 because we're a 1 for 1, stable coin. That's huge. That's huge. And what that does for Terra, the Luna Terra and the UST, 1 for 1 MIM connection to all the interest bearing assets that are tied there, even though it's independent in its own blockchain. It gives a direct connection. When you said interest bearing earlier, I just want to slow it down and just explain again. These are LP tokens. We did a video on how to provide LP tokens and what that is on these exchanges. But what that means is that you lock up USDT, USDC, Sushi, some of these tokens, Yearn Finance, and they offer more. You lock up these LP tokens, and because there's exchanges happening, those LP tokens earn rewards. That's what happens. Liquidity positions earn rewards.
Yeah, they're interest bearing.
But when you lock it up and you get MIM, you get a set amount of MIM. So that set amount of MIM you get is backed by an asset that's growing.
Right.
And that's what's remarkable, and what makes MIM so great is it's creating a decentralized stable coin that's backed by growing asset value. And it's decentralized. And you talk about how revolutionary the Luna Terra UST, because now it's backed by something that's not growing. It's backed by UST. However, UST is correlated to Luna. Luna's
right.
what backs UST, which is
appreciating too.
Which means anyone that locks up UST, that UST can now be converted into
MIM.
Well, not just MIM, but also Luna.
Oh, into Luna, right?
Yeah,
because you can swap.
That UST that's given to MIM can be converted to Luna.
That's right.
Right. So that's interesting and very cool. Abracadabra.money is very innovative, and it connects to different chains. You can do things with Phantom, where you lock up stable coins in the Phantom network to save on gas fees. And they're growing and what can be done, but they are the creation, the beginning of MIM. And this is a beautiful talk about DeFi 2.0. MIM and a couple others we'll get to are definitely pioneering the way for it to move forward and to leapfrog.
Indeed. Yeah, I think MIM and Abracadabra, they're at the forefront of this DeFi 2.0 movement.
So
under borrow, I'm just looking through the site a little bit, but you got the farming options where you can. This is where you can deposit your coin, your LPs, and then you can borrow money. And then hold on, is that right? The farm? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No farm. Okay, there's no. I'm sorry. I'm on the Avalanche mainnet, and you have to go to the Ethereum mainnet to see the farms that are available. I guess they're still rolling out.
Yeah, Avalanche is early on in its connection. Yeah. You can still add to some pools or stuff happening, but what's the point of this is really to show the MIMs.
Right. Get that concept.
Even though Abracadabra is early in its creating pools. Now, look, you can total MIM borrowed Avalanche. They offer Avalanche, XJoe, and Wrapped Memo as collateral that you can borrow against, and you borrow MIM. So remember, every time MIM is borrowed, understand, here's the mechanism. How does this work? This is how it works, and it works beautifully. Avalanche, Wrapped Memo, which is time, XJoe, and we'll go to these others. We saw those interest-bearing LPs. Every time MIM is borrowed, it's backed by something that's interest-bearing, or it's over collateralized, right? So because if you have Avalanche and you're going to borrow MIM, they're going to give you access to a fraction of the collateral that you provide, right? So that's to get the idea of what MIM is. It's really offering a beautiful service to many different blockchains and to DeFi and to cryptocurrency in general. And what you find connected to it in the form of collateral is something that the magic happens here, something beautiful to look at and support, and to just track and follow as it goes along. You think we've covered Abracadabra and MIM pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, there's
we're going to go into Abracadabra deeper later for those who know more about it, for sure.
But it's good introductory. Yeah, I mean, there's a bridge. There's a bridge on Abracadabra. It seems to be it's their own. Oh, it's powered by Uniswap. So
Yeah,
that's
any swap powers that for Boost Swap. Any swap seems to be the premier behind the scenes mechanism for a lot of these cross-chain
mhm.
swaps at the moment. Now, of course, we've got a video coming up. Kusama, there are some other chains that are working to do stuff. But yeah, at the moment, AnySwap is definitely the pioneer.
One thing I'm looking forward to, I know it's not out yet, but there's going to be an ability to stake your spell on the on Avalanche and Phantom on Abracadabra and get paid in spell. So that's pretty cool. And so in case people don't know, MIM is the stable coin and spell is the governance token or the exchange token. The utility token would be the way to say it.
Yep. And I believe that a portion of it, it can be burnt to keep it stable, or it functions
Mhm.
to help balance it. So
Yep.
bullish on MIM in the long run is bullish on spell.
Right.
Also in the mix, you saw a wrapped memo in there, and
I did.
we if you're interested in Abracadabra and you're interested, we're getting into DeFi 2.0 for sure right now, higher end than just old fashioned providing liquidity. We're getting into the building blocks of decentralized stable coins, decentralized
Right.
stability. We're trying to really bring stability cross chain. That's when we talk about MIM and we talk about ways of locking up liquidity, all these rewards, all these incentives to create locked liquidity and to create an alternative for stable coins is to allow people to cash in and cash out, to have that opportunity without that regulatory risk that you spoke of. So
Right.
as we get into this, obviously read the documentation.
Yeah, that's for sure. Know what you're doing, do your research.
And even if you don't know what you're doing, do your own research. That's often how I roll, is I do my own research, even when I don't know what I'm doing, especially when I don't. And
Yeah,
afterwards, I still don't 100%,
but you know more.
Uh,
Well, out of all the protocols we've talked about today, this is the one I'm most excited about. And that's probably because I've made the most money off of it, but that's irrelevant.
well, no,
Well,
it's
and
very
maybe it's not. It's directly relevant.
yeah. A lot of protocols we talk about, we've experimented with, are currently in, or have been in, or would like to be in. Not all projects that but we cover projects as soon as we can, even if we're in it or not, and would love to be in them. But just we could do a series, we assume, called "Pump Our Bags," and just assume
Yeah,
you could just assume that we have it, but really it's about talking about how these technologies work and what's going on. And often it's, if we're in something, that's how we learned about it, and that's how
right.
we know more about it.
That's why we're talking about it. Yeah.
Um,
So
or
what's going on with this? What's going on with Wonderland?
yeah,
Well, this is a fork of Olympus DAO, which is originally on the Ethereum network, and Olympus DAO is one of the kind of, I think, would say like the pioneer of this DeFi 2.0 concept. And we're going to get into this more in another video, but it's all about creating a new set of incentives so that you don't have as much problem with impermanent loss and rug pulls and just the liquidity vanishing and price collapsing. That's been a big deal with farms and pools up till even till today. There's entire sites about rating these farms, and so to warn people about the potential for like a liquidity being just pulled out from under you and having your position essentially just lost, right? The value of it lost. That's been one of the challenges facing people who are trying to figure out ways to put money to work, but also not obviously you want to take a position that's not going to be as risky, and you don't want to lose. You don't want to be a mark, or as it were. So there's this need, there's this unspoken or very much known about need for sort of like a new way of designing some of these incentives for farming and pooling and liquidity pooling. So Wonderland is a fork of Olympus DAO, and they were the ones who were the originators of this new concept. And some of you can read the documentation to get into to the deets, but essentially there's a treasury, There's some kind of a minting process where people bring assets, interest-bearing assets in to mint new time. Time is the token we're talking about. And if you look at what assets you can mint time with, you see that time MIM LP, time Avax LP, wrapped Avax, and then just MIM. So it's heavy on the Avalanche, on Avalanche and MIM. Those are the assets that are essentially that are backing time. And so what happens is you take these interest-bearing assets, or the first two are LPs, the bottom aren't. You take these assets and you're able to.
You could arguably say that the wrapped AVAX, 3 of them are interest-bearing assets, because generally speaking, if you're bullish on Avalanche, then the wrapped Avalanche will grow in value over.
Right. That's true. Yeah. So, but they're not it's not an LP token. But yeah, so what happens is you take these assets and you're able to mint or you exchange them, you give them up. That's not a loan in this case. You're giving these assets up, and in exchange for them, you get time at a discount. So depending on which asset you use, you get a different discount. And there's a vesting term. It's a 5-day period. So over a 5-day interval, you'll get a payout of your time that comes. So it comes out in intervals. And in the 5th day is the last payment. So this is a way to get a time position at a slight discount. And so it also provides a source of income for the protocol. So the protocol is earning an income by putting to work these interest-bearing assets over that 5-day period, and then that generates an income. And through that, they're returning that income back over to the stakers, and that's how they're paying out these APYs at, what is it, 76,000% right now is the APY. So they're making that possible through relying on the profits generated through this minting process. What else should be known about it? Oh yeah. So as
price fluctuates, it goes up and down a lot with this kind of activity, because people take profit when rewards come, and that's just natural. And it's in a correction right now. We'll see how much longer it goes. However, this is part of that ecosystem, the MIM time, locking it up. This is part of that, creating locked liquidity and value for many DeFi protocols spread around many blockchains. In this time, it's more than just a token. It's actually a function of Avalanche, a function of MIM, and connected actually soon on other protocols. I mean, you see the liquidity positions provided for time on different exchanges. So it's definitely grown quickly.
It's one thing to say about it is that it does have there's a treasury balance that continues to grow. So as people mint time, they turn those assets over, and those go to increase the treasury. And as that treasury grows, then the backing per time increases. So now you see it's almost 1,300. And if you're looking at what the runway figure, that is essentially a function of the treasury balance and the current APY. And what it's saying is that at the current rate of the current treasury fund, that's how many days they have set up to where they can make those APY promises, make them good. So there's 412 days of that kind of an APY at that level, according to the treasury balance and given the market cap and the price of time. So yeah, it's an exciting protocol. I think looking at the documentation, really understanding the white paper and the tokenomics is important before you just jump into something like this. But all in all, I mean, I've done very well on it, and I think it's worth looking at. And as also the other forks of Olympus DAO. So OM is the token of Olympus DAO. There's other forks of Olympus DAO that are worth looking at too, which we're going to cover in more detail later on.
We absolutely do. And this symbol right here, we're getting to one more protocol, in Avalanche that's very innovative and connected to Wonderland and very new. But this symbol is a symbol that is about, there's a family of DeFi protocols being developed, and by the same person, I believe, or
some similar. They're all, yeah,
similar mechanics.
right.
And the idea is they're here with the intention of helping create a decentralized, oh shucks, the document's down, an alternative, a stable coin, a stable alternative to some of the volatility that's out there. And
well, if you click the docs page, a chart will pop up and you can show people what we're talking about. But it's a game theory reference, and that might be over some people's heads. But yeah, just scroll down, see that double hats on the left. You click that, I think it'll take it right to you. Right, yeah. So if you go down a little further, you'll see it. There'll be a game theory grid. So there's this 3x3 grid. Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm telling you wrong. Where is it at?
It's in a different place.
It's in the FAQ section.
Let's go to the FAQ.
And it's, yeah, it's midway down. You'll see it. So there's this grid, and it shows different, it's a game theory grid, and it shows different outcomes where you can have, you have two players. You got one player on the y-axis and another player on the x-axis. And you can see different combinations of decisions, whether we're talking about both staking or one staking, the other bonding, or both selling. So that obviously so the whole idea of these hats is referencing the win-win kinds of outcomes. So if both people stake, you get the protocol is going to have liquidity, and both people neither are going to do anything that that hurts the other, right? Because they're both staking, they're both adding to the liquidity, neither are selling. So that's bullish. And so it's a win-win. And then the lose-lose would be if both sold, because you'd have, both selling. So the pressure on price would reduce the value of both assets for both people. The protocol loses too, because liquidity is gone. And, it's a lose-lose situation. And so the whole goal of these Olympus DAO forks is to move us from that lower right-hand corner double X outcome, or even something in the neighborhood of where one bonds and the other sells or something like that, moving away from those suboptimal outcomes to the ones in the green where it's a win-win. And that's what these hats are about, the double Mad Hatter. And other protocols will use other symbols to reference the same idea. So in case you're wondering about that.
And while one of the coolest parts is it's adding value in the beginning, it's beefing up, because at some point people take profit and sell. You can't lock it up forever, but at some point, it's also helping get MIM off the ground. It's another way of helping the decentralized stablecoin of MIM grow by adding more an asset to back it.
Exactly.
While bonding provides liquidity and MIM for the treasury, so it adds more use case, more utility, and more value to MIM as a stable coin. And of course, this also guarantees the protocol can always back one time with one MIM. So
yeah, that's a bit of that's the price floor that they talk about. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's one thing you'll take away from reading these docs that you see from Olympus DAO forks, and they all they're very similar to each other. They have a similar format. You can tell immediately that they're very well put together, and whoever designed this took game theory and took incentives seriously.
It's playing out so far. We'll see how long it works with the rest of the market. A lot of this contingents upon the health of the overall market. We have a video coming out pretty soon on Fed tapering, I'm sure, and other stuff happening in the world. One thing that's commonly done with time, one of the most common things to do with time, if you acquire time on TraderJoe, right, or some, then you can come over and you can max whatever portion. You can stake your time, approve it, and you will get auto compounding rewards on your time. Is that accurate? I know that you earn a reward.
No, that's accurate.
So that's another thing you can do with your time. That's the hat is you can lock it up. And when you lock it up, what you earn every few days, what you earn that gets distributed to you will be added to that balance that gets.
It's an auto compounding protocol. So it rebases every rebases every 8 hours. So there's a three rebases a day. And what that means is that the rewards that are paid out get added to your stake. And so the next time you're paid out rewards, it's on a slightly larger principal. So your reward amount grows. And then really it compounds very quickly. I mean, it's pretty amazing. If you look at the index, it says current index 3.04 time. So what that refers to is that's the amount of time you would have if you had one time at the very beginning of the protocol. It would have grown to 3.04. And time hasn't been around. I mean, we can check nomics if you want to see it when it launched, but it's a relatively new project. The first candle was September of 21. So this year, only a few months ago. So this has been around for a couple months, and it's already had a compounding effect that has tripled the initial investment. If you had one time, it would be 3 now. So yeah, that's the compounding works. And when you read the documentation, they discuss how based on the compounding, the auto compounding, that even if time were to fall like by a massive amount, like 90%, that sticking with it and just staking it for a year with the compounding makes it a viable investment and comparable to pretty much anything else in crypto.
As long as that 90% drop doesn't happen at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's right.
So
right.
Without that 90% drop for a year, and should be good. But this is the basics. Definitely learn more, read the doc. And that leads into snowbank.finance, which is one of the latest iterations of a similar idea. Snowbank is building a community-owned, decentralized financial infrastructure to bring more stability and transparency to the world, available on Avalanche.
So one thing you'll notice about these Olympus DAO forks, whether we're talking about Snowbank or Time on Avalanche, or whether we're talking about 8 on Harmony One, or whether we're talking about Rome on Kusama Polkadot, they all consider themselves to be trying to create a community-owned, decentralized reserve currency in a DAO framework with a treasury and a mint bonding mechanism, right? They all share that in common. So I've learned that those are some of the key terms. So when you're looking at through these things and you see decentralized reserve currency, think, okay, this must be an Olympus DAO fork. And especially when you see the 99 in parentheses, that reference, and then of course with MIM being the part of the minting process, this is very much consistent with those kinds of protocols. This one is incredibly early. If you look at the index, 1.18. I mean, this just launched. So yeah, but the APYs are off the charts. This is all very risky stuff, right? And the price is up $1,000 since we've been doing this video, right?
We said, should we do this video after we find a way? And you're like, no, let's just.
Well, we debated whether or not we should hold off on the video and just go buy it right now and then do the video. And we were like, no, we don't need to FOMO into that. It's just.
And that's how this stuff works, is actually you should, well, I don't say FOMO, but it definitely rewards the time. Speaking of time, those who act quick when you do your research. So depending upon when you find this, you may benefit greatly from experimenting a little bit in this and being a part of this. What's cool is you're also being a part of that MIM, Avax. You're being a part of that ecosystem that's locking value and adding value to this new decentralized stability.
One thing I would say is if you're going to buy Snowbank, given the fact that it's so new and early, these discounts are pretty deep on the minting. I would be tempted to try to mint my way to my position versus just going out and going to TraderJoe or Pangolin or whatever and buying it directly.
Get the LP.
Get the LP and then get a 35% discount.
And if you're my generation, you might be saying, is he talking about get the record? No, I'm not saying go get the LP and get the Snowbank record.
Not the vinyl, right?
Don't get the vinyl. Get the liquidity providing token for Snowbank and Avax and get that discount on Snowbank. Who knows? This 4,000 might be catching up to Wonderland in a short amount of time. I mean,
and this might be what's happening to Wonderland right now.
Yeah,
that's you got that.
Have gone down. This was at was it 7 trillion earlier, and now it's already down to 2 trillion.
Oops,
going down.
My mic. Okay, so it's falling like a rock. Yeah.
Hurry, quick.
But yeah. Anyway, these are some of the opportunities on Avalanche. I think it's some of the most innovative out there in DeFi.
Already 42 million locked up in the treasury balance for this.
It's nice.
It's growing. The backing is growing. Very cool. I think, obviously there's more protocols in Avalanche. If you know about some cool stuff going on, drop in the comments, let us know. If you like this kind of content that goes you through the details and kind of runs you around these different ecosystems, then subscribe with the notification bell because we've got more coming out.
Oh yeah.
And
that's right.
As well as market updates and market news and what's happened in the world of finance, the economy, and crypto.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little something to say about all of
it. Good research, brother. You found a lot of good stuff. We covered a lot. I think we pretty much did Avalanche justice for now. We'll hashtag Avalanche if you're in the Avalanche community. Kind of spread this around and let people know so they can kind of get a deep, thorough look at all the beautiful stuff going on that's being developed out there. But anything else?
I think that covers it.
Okay, well then until the next time, have a beautiful day and namaste.